What would happen if the creative mind behind games like No More Heroes and Killer 7 had a baby with the father of Resident Evil? Well, the short answer is Shadows of the Damned. But the long answer? That's about as complex as it gets. Horror and comedy have been friends for a very long time, and it's true that the line between them is about as fine as it gets. Shadows of the Damned, however, disregards the line entirely, and it is dead set on making you both unnerved and jolly at the same time. You play as Garcia Hotspur, a demon hunter. Zero background is given on when he learned such a trade or why his only companion is a floating, flaming, British skull that can transform into guns and motorcycles. But those are the petty details anyways. The game begins with Garcia confronting a fallen demon who taunts him about the helplessness of his task as a demon cleaner. Just before Garcia can put the demon out of his misery, it asks about the well-being of his girlfriend. Garcia finishes the job and returns to his apartment, only to find his girlfriend has been chosen as a mistress by the Lord of the Demons himself. As he retreats back into the land of demons, Garcia follows in hot pursuit, and thus begins your journey through a particularly strange underworld. As mentioned before, Garcia's only companion is a floating skull named Johnson. He used to be a demon, but somehow managed to get out of that lifestyle. His deal is that he can transform into seemingly anything he wants, including multiple forms of guns, with which you get your demon hunter on. Johnson's other main function is to provide witty commentary and occasionally bicker with Garcia. This is necessary as Garcia himself isn't exactly a great character, and it's his reactions to Johnson that make him enjoyable. The game is humorous in other ways. For instance, checkpoints are marked off by a one-eyed flying demon named Willy. Get it? Whereupon seeing Garcia runs off scared, leaving behind a literal pile of steaming crap as your checkpoint. The vendor is a terrifying looking creature with a redneck personality, and more than once you'll find posters pasted around the underworld that act as funny flyers or a backstory to the demons. There are also a few minigames throughout the campaign that exist purely for silliness, and though gameplay-wise they can get long in the tooth, they're still pretty funny. But as I said, it can be also kind of frightening. The game plays in typical Resident Evil style. An over-the-shoulder camera allows you to perfectly nail demons in the head with bullets, which are usually in the form of demons' teeth or skulls. This style lends itself well to horror games, and it's no different here. The demons lumber toward you slowly, and the levels are often cramped and crowded, giving you a sense of claustrophobia and the fear of being swarmed by these beasts. There's also a darkness mechanic, where the darkness in the underworld is a bit more advanced than usual, so it can drain your health or make your enemies completely invulnerable. Usually there is some way to reactivate the light, either by shooting a dismembered goat head that is still alive and chewing away on food, or by breaking the darkness switches that exist every so often. More than once I was genuinely startled by something either popping out or a stray enemy I lost track of, but mostly the scares come in waves of unease and strangeness, not outright terror. The story isn't that great, but it's the dialogue that really shines through in Shadows of the Damned. Johnson in particular is the highlight with his goofy commentary. The narrative also gets very jumbled up near the end of the game, leaving you saying, "Oh, come on," instead of, "Hey, this is clever." The designs are great in some places and just lacking in others. Some demons are very well thought out and neat, but others look like they were spit out of the generic machine. Though the overall layout of most of the scenery is pretty well done, if not bland, but I suppose that's to be expected from the underworld. Honestly, no one aspect of the game will manage to wow you, but it's the combined effort that really makes it worthwhile. Even if you're stuck with somewhat dull visuals, slow gameplay, and a confusing narrative, in Shadows of the Damned it somehow all works out. It's always a silly, sometimes nasty, occasionally gruesome journey that will win you over with its charm. Or maybe lack thereof.